Welcome to Midnight Sleep Chronicles. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Take a deep breath with me. Just breathe. Let your body settle into wherever you're resting right now. Tonight, we're looking up. Not with our eyes, keep them closed, keep them heavy, but with our imagination, with wonder, with the same curiosity that has driven humanity since the first person looked at the night sky and asked, "What are those lights? Where do we fit in all of this? What lies beyond?" We're exploring something vast, something ancient, something that connects you to every human who has ever lived. The solar system, our cosmic home, the family of worlds spinning through space together, the sun and its children. You'll discover why the ancients thought planets were gods, why a telescope changed everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe, why we're made of stardust, literally, and what that means about where we came from and where we're going. The solar system, solar, 8 planets, 5 dwarf planets, hundreds of moons, millions of asteroids, billions of comets, all held together by gravity, all dancing to the same ancient rhythm, all part of one system, one family, one story, and you're part of it too. Right now, this moment, you're on a planet spinning at over 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting a star at 67,000 miles per hour, moving through the galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour. You're flying through space, right now, as you rest, as you breathe. But before we begin our journey together, I'd love it if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It truly means the world to me, and I'm always curious. Where are you listening from tonight? And when you look at the night sky, what do you wonder about? When was the last time you really looked up at the stars and felt that sense of wonder? Write about it in the comments. I love reading what moves people to look up. Now, let's begin. Let's drift together through space and time, through science and story, through what we know and what we're still discovering, through 4.5 billion years of cosmic history. Breathe, settle, let go. Let's begin. Act 1. Reality. The science of our cosmic neighborhood. Close your eyes. Relax your eyelids. Let them grow heavy. Now, imagine you're floating, not in water, not in air, but in space. Perfect darkness surrounds you, perfect silence. No sound can travel here. No atmosphere to carry vibrations, just you, suspended, weightless. Take a moment. Really feel this. The absence of gravity, the absence of sound. Just you and the infinite dark. Behind you, turn slowly, gently. Behind you is Earth. Blue and white and impossibly beautiful. Swirled with clouds, crowned with ice at the poles. 70% ocean catching sunlight like a sapphire. The only home humanity has ever known. Spinning slowly, serenely, fragile and perfect against the black. Can you see it? That small blue marble. Everything you've ever known. Everyone you've ever loved. Every story ever told. All contained on that one small world. And before you, look now, turn your attention. Before you hangs the sun. Not the harsh glare you see from Earth's surface. Not filtered through atmosphere. But the sun itself. A sphere of light, of fire, of nuclear fusion. So bright you cannot look directly at it, even in imagination. So massive it holds everything, Earth, the moon, all the planets, in its gravitational embrace. This is our solar system, our neighborhood, our home in space. But for most of human history, we didn't know this. Didn't know we were on a planet. Didn't know the sun was a star. Didn't know there were other worlds. We stood on Earth and looked up and tried to make sense of the lights, the patterns, the movements, and we told ourselves stories. Let's begin at the beginning. Not 4.5 billion years ago when the solar system formed, but 5,000 years ago, when humans first started writing down what they saw in the sky. The year is 3000 BCE, Babylon, ancient Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The night is clear. The sky blazes with stars. No city lights to dim them, no pollution to blur them, just pure darkness and pure light. Imagine standing there, on a ziggurat, the night air cool on your skin, the stars so bright they cast shadows. Have you ever seen a sky like that? Away from cities, away from lights, where the Milky Way looks like a river of light flowing across the heavens. Priests stand on these ziggurats, stepped pyramids reaching toward heaven, and they watch. They've been watching for generations, for centuries. They've noticed something remarkable, something that sets certain lights apart from all the others. Most stars stay fixed. Night after night, year after year, they maintain their positions relative to each other. The great hunter Orion, the plow of the Big Dipper, the Scorpion, the Bull. These patterns never change. They wheel across the sky as Earth rotates, but they never break formation, never drift, never wander. But 5 lights are different. 5 lights move. They wander among the fixed stars like shepherds among sheep, sometimes moving forward against the background of constellations, sometimes stopping, sometimes even moving backward, then forward again, looping, dancing, following paths the priests can predict but cannot explain. The Greeks called them planetae, wanderers, planets. They could see 5 with the naked eye. Mercury, swift and close to the sun, never venturing far from the horizon. Venus, the morning star, the evening star, brightest light in the sky except for the sun and moon. Mars, red as blood, as war, burning like a distant fire. Jupiter, majestic and bright, steady and strong. And Saturn, dim and slow, taking nearly 30 years to complete one circuit of the zodiac. These were special. These were different. These were clearly important. But what were they? The ancient mind, brilliant but working with limited information, created explanations that made sense. These lights must be gods, or vehicles of gods, or windows into the divine realm. They move because they have will. They have purpose. They affect our world because they are powerful. They deserve worship, respect, fear. Mercury became the messenger god, swift, quick, clever, moving rapidly across the sky. Venus became the goddess of love and beauty, radiant, alluring, captivating, the most beautiful light in the heavens. Mars became the god of war, red, aggressive, ominous. When Mars was prominent, armies marched, blood was shed. Jupiter became the king of gods, largest, brightest of the outer planets, commanding, authoritative. Jupiter's position at birth could determine your fate. Saturn became time, old age, limitation, death, slow-moving, heavy, the outermost visible boundary of the celestial realm. This was astrology, not astronomy, not yet. These weren't celestial bodies. They were celestial beings. They weren't following physical laws. They were following divine will. And for thousands of years, thousands, this explanation satisfied. Because it was beautiful, meaningful. It connected heaven and earth. It gave purpose to the lights. It suggested that we mattered, that our lives were written in the stars, that the universe paid attention. But some minds were not satisfied. Some minds wanted to know how, not just why. Wanted mechanism, not just meaning. Wanted to understand the machinery behind the mystery. Around 600 BCE in ancient Greece, something remarkable began. A shift in thinking, a revolution in how humans approached the question of what lies above. Thales of Miletus suggested that natural phenomena have natural causes, not supernatural, not divine intervention, natural. The world operates according to principles, rules, patterns, and these can be discovered, understood, predicted. This was radical. This was dangerous. This challenged everything. Pythagoras proposed that the universe is mathematical, that numbers describe reality, that harmony, musical harmony, exists in the heavens just as it exists in strings and flutes. The planets move in mathematical ratios. The cosmos is a symphony. Aristotle built a model, Earth at the center, unmoving, perfect spheres, the celestial spheres, rotating around Earth, carrying the sun, moon, planets, and stars. Each sphere nested inside the next like Russian dolls. Everything circular because circles are perfect. Everything uniform because the heavens are unchanging. Eternal. This model dominated Western thought for nearly 2,000 years. 2,000 years. It was elegant, philosophical. It matched what people could see with their own eyes. Earth certainly doesn't feel like it's moving. The ground is solid, stable, fixed. Obviously, everything else moves around us. But there were problems. Small problems at first. Details that didn't quite fit. The planets sometimes moved backward. Retrograde motion, they called it. Mars would travel eastward across the zodiac, then stop, reverse course for a few weeks, then stop again and resume its forward motion. Like it was uncertain, hesitating, changing its mind. Aristotle's model couldn't explain this, so astronomers added complexity. Epicycles. The planet moves in a small circle, an epicycle, while that circle moves along a larger circle around Earth. This created loops, allowed retrograde motion, saved the appearances. More problems emerged. More epicycles were added. Epicycles on epicycles. Circles within circles within circles. The model grew baroque, complicated, unwieldy. But it still worked, sort of. It could still predict where planets would be in the sky, more or less. And it kept Earth at the center, kept humanity at the center, kept us important, special, the reason for creation. Then came Copernicus, 1543, a Polish monk and mathematician, dying. On his deathbed, he receives the first printed copy of his book, De Revolutionibus Orbium Coelestium, von Heine, The Revolutions of the Celestial Spheres. In this book, he proposes something outrageous, something that would change everything. He suggests, what if Earth is not the center? What if the sun is the center? What if we're just another planet, moving, orbiting, spinning through space like all the others? This explains retrograde motion perfectly. No epicycles needed. When Earth, moving faster in its inner orbit, overtakes Mars in its outer orbit, Mars appears to move backward against the stars. Like when you pass a car on the highway, and for a moment, it seems to be moving backward relative to the distant landscape. It's just perspective, geometry, simple, elegant, beautiful. But it was also terrifying. If Earth moves, then we're not the center, not special, not the purpose of creation. We're just one world among several, wandering, lost in space. The Catholic Church banned the book, threatened anyone who taught it, because if this was true, then Scripture was wrong. Then tradition was wrong. Then humanity's place in God's plan was uncertain. But truth has a way of persisting, of emerging, of proving itself. 1609, Italy. A mathematician named Galileo Galilei hears about a new invention from the Netherlands. A toy, really. A tube with lenses that makes distant objects appear closer. A spyglass. Galileo builds one, then builds a better one, then points it at the sky, and everything changes. He sees mountains on the moon. Mountains. Craters. The moon is not a perfect sphere of ethereal substance. It's a world. Rocky, rough, real. He sees 4 moons orbiting Jupiter, 4 points of light moving around the planet night after night, following predictable paths, orbiting. Jupiter is its own center, its own system, a miniature solar system proving that not everything orbits Earth. He sees phases of Venus, crescent Venus, half Venus, full Venus. Like the moon's phases, this is only possible if Venus orbits the Sun, not Earth. Only possible if Copernicus was right. He sees spots on the Sun, dark blemishes moving across the solar surface. The Sun is not perfect, not unchanging, not divine. It's a physical object, subject to change, to imperfection. These observations could not be denied, could not be explained away. The heavens were not what we thought. The universe was not what we believed. Galileo published his findings, defended Copernicus, argued for the heliocentric model, sun at the center, planets orbiting. The church summoned him, tried him, forced him to recant, placed him under house arrest for the rest of his life. But the truth was out. The genie was out of the bottle. More telescopes were built, more observations were made, more evidence accumulated. Johannes Kepler, working from decades of precise observations by Tycho Brahe, discovered the laws of planetary motion. Planets don't move in perfect circles. They move in ellipses, ovals, with the sun at one focus. They move faster when closer to the sun, slower when farther. There's a mathematical relationship between a planet's distance from the sun and how long it takes to orbit. This was profound. The universe follows mathematical laws, exact laws, predictable laws. The cosmos is not capricious, not random, not governed by divine whim. It's governed by mathematics, by physics, by principles that can be discovered and written down and tested. Then came Newton, 1687, Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, the mathematical principles of natural philosophy, the most important scientific book ever written. Newton showed that the same force that makes an apple fall from a tree keeps the moon in orbit around Earth, keeps Earth in orbit around the sun, keeps the entire solar system bound together. Gravity, universal gravitation, every mass attracts every other mass. The force depends on mass and distance. Simple, universal, elegant. Suddenly the solar system made sense. Not as a divine arrangement, not as a philosophical statement, but as a physical system. Masses moving through space under the influence of gravity. Following laws, eternal, unchanging laws. You could predict where planets would be, not just approximately, precisely. Years in advance, centuries in advance. The universe was not just orderable, it was clockwork, deterministic, knowable. This was the Enlightenment, the age of reason. Humanity had unlocked the secrets of the heavens. We understood. We knew. We could predict. We were no longer children frightened by lights in the sky. We were adults, masters of knowledge. But knowing the laws of motion is different from knowing what the solar system actually contains. We knew how planets moved, but we didn't know how many there were, what they were made of, where they came from. Uranus was discovered in 1781. William Herschel, surveying the sky with a telescope, noticed a faint point of light that moved. Not a star, a planet. The first planet discovered in recorded history, not visible to the naked eye. Beyond Saturn, twice as far from the sun as Saturn. The solar system was suddenly bigger, vaster than anyone had imagined. If there's one undiscovered planet, might there be more? Neptune was discovered in 1846, not by accident, not by survey, but by mathematics, by prediction. Uranus's orbit wasn't quite right. It wobbled slightly, as if pulled by something unseen. Mathematicians calculated where an unknown planet would need to be to cause this wobble. Telescopes pointed to that exact spot, and there it was, Neptune, precisely where mathematics said it would be. This was triumph, pure triumph. We could discover worlds with equations, with pencil and paper, before even looking. The universe obeyed our mathematics. Our understanding was not just correct, it was powerful. Pluto was discovered in 1930, small, distant, orbiting far beyond Neptune in the cold dark. The ninth planet, the edge of the solar system, a frozen world, barely larger than our moon, taking nearly 250 years to complete one orbit. For 76 years, school children learned. 9 planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. 9. That was the answer. That was our solar system. Then, in 2006, the definition changed. Astronomers discovered many other objects in Pluto's region. The Kuiper Belt, hundreds of icy bodies, some nearly as large as Pluto. If Pluto is a planet, they all are. Or if they're not planets, neither is Pluto. The decision was made. Pluto was reclassified. Dwarf planet, not a full planet. The solar system now has 8 planets, not 9. This felt like loss to many. Like Pluto was demoted, punished, cast out. But it was actually clarity, better definition, better understanding. Pluto is wonderful, fascinating, important. But it's not alone. It's part of a population, a family of icy worlds beyond Neptune. Our solar system is richer than we thought, more complex, more interesting. So what is our solar system? What does it actually contain? At the center, the Sun, one star, a sphere of hydrogen and helium undergoing nuclear fusion, 109 times wider than Earth, 330,000 times more massive, containing 99.86% of all the mass in the solar system. Everything else, all the planets, moons, asteroids, comets combined, is a rounding error. The Sun is essentially the entire solar system. We're just decorations, afterthoughts, debris orbiting the main event. But what decorations we are. Mercury, closest to the Sun, smallest planet, barely larger than our moon, scorched on one side by the Sun's heat, frozen on the other side in eternal shadow, covered in craters, airless, desolate, a dead world, but also beautiful, surprising, with ice in permanently shadowed craters near its poles, ice on the planet, closest to the Sun. The universe loves irony. Venus, second planet, Earth's sister, almost identical in size. But there the similarity ends. Venus is hell. The surface temperature is hot enough to melt lead, 860 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than Mercury, even though Venus is farther from the Sun. Why? Greenhouse effect, runaway greenhouse effect. Venus's thick atmosphere, 90 times thicker than Earth's, traps heat. Carbon dioxide mostly, clouds of sulfuric acid, crushing pressure, searing heat. A cautionary tale of what happens when a planet's climate spirals out of control. Earth, third planet, home. The only world we know of, so far, that harbors life. 70% ocean, breathable atmosphere, magnetic field protecting us from solar radiation, a large moon stabilizing our tilt, seasons, weather, continents drifting, volcanoes erupting, earthquakes shaking, life everywhere, in the oceans, on the land, in the air, in the soil, trillions of species, or over billions of years of evolution, and somehow, impossibly, conscious beings. Us, looking up, wondering, understanding. We are the universe becoming aware of itself. Pause for a moment. Think about that. You, lying here right now, are made of atoms that were forged inside stars. Your body contains iron from supernovas, carbon from stellar cores. You are literally made of stardust. This is not poetry. This is physics. Mars, fourth planet, the red planet, rust-colored deserts, polar ice caps, ancient river valleys, evidence that water once flowed on the surface, that Mars was once warmer, wetter, perhaps habitable, perhaps home to life. We don't know yet. We're looking. Rovers exploring, searching for signs, for fossils, for chemistry, for proof that life is not unique to Earth. Mars is smaller than Earth, colder, thinner atmosphere, mostly carbon dioxide. But it's the most Earth-like planet we have. The most likely place humans might one day walk, live, build cities, begin again. Between Mars and Jupiter lies the asteroid belt. Millions of rocky bodies, remnants from the solar system's formation, debris that never coalesced into a planet. Jupiter's gravity prevented it, stirred the region, made collisions too violent for accretion. So the asteroids remain, tumbling, colliding occasionally. Pieces breaking off, some wander, cross Earth's orbit, occasionally strike. Dinosaurs knew this. The asteroid belt is beautiful in its chaos, in its incompletion, a planetary possibility that never was. Jupiter, fifth planet, king of planets, largest by far. More massive than all other planets combined, a gas giant, no solid surface. Just atmosphere deepening into liquid, into metallic hydrogen under crushing pressure. Storms larger than Earth. The Great Red Spot, a hurricane that has raged for at least 300 years, maybe longer. Jupiter has 79 known moons, 4 large ones visible from Earth with binoculars. Io, volcanic and yellow. Europa, icy with an ocean beneath. Ganymede, largest moon in the solar system. Callisto, ancient and cratered. Jupiter is its own solar system, its own center of gravity. A failed star, some say, not massive enough to ignite fusion, but magnificent nonetheless. Tonight, as you rest here, Jupiter is out there, shining, orbiting, holding its family of moons in gravitational embrace. Can you feel it? Not physically, but knowing it's there, that giant world spinning through space. Does it change this moment somehow? Saturn, sixth planet, the jewel of the solar system, wrapped in rings, glorious rings, made of billions of particles, ice and rock, ranging from dust-sized to house-sized, orbiting, reflecting sunlight, creating the most beautiful sight in the solar system. Saturn itself is a gas giant, similar to Jupiter but less massive, less dense, so low in density it would float if you could find an ocean large enough. Saturn has 82 known moons. Titan, the largest, bigger than Mercury, with a thick atmosphere, lakes of liquid methane, organic chemistry, possibly life, possibly a very different kind of life. Uranus, seventh planet, the sideways planet, tipped on its side, rotational axis nearly parallel to its orbit. Why? No one knows. Perhaps a massive collision early in its history. Perhaps tidal effects from other planets. Uranus is an ice giant. Not gas like Jupiter and Saturn. Ice, water ice, ammonia ice, methane ice. Deep inside, the atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, with methane giving it a blue-green color. Calm-looking, featureless. But storms exist. Winds blow. Uranus has 27 known moons, named after characters from Shakespeare and Alexander Pope. A literary solar system. Poetic. Neptune, eighth planet. Outermost major planet. Deep blue. Beautiful. Windy. The windiest planet in the solar system. Winds reach 1,200 miles per hour, faster than sound on Earth. Why so windy when it's so far from the sun, when it receives so little solar energy? Internal heat. Neptune radiates more energy than it receives. It's still warm from its formation, still contracting, still releasing heat. Neptune has 14 known moons. Triton, the largest, orbits backward. Retrograde, captured. Probably a Kuiper Belt object captured by Neptune's gravity. Triton has geysers, nitrogen geysers, spraying material into space, active, alive, in the cold dark beyond. And beyond Neptune, the Kuiper Belt, a ring of icy bodies. Thousands discovered, hundreds of thousands likely exist. Pluto is here, Eris, Makemake, Haumea, dwarf planets, small worlds, frozen, distant, orbiting the sun once every 300 years, some longer. These are ancient, pristine, unchanged since the solar system's birth. Time capsules, records of what was, of how it all began. Beyond the Kuiper Belt, the Oort cloud, theoretical, not yet directly observed, but inferred. A spherical shell of trillions of icy bodies, comets in waiting, extending halfway to the nearest star, the true edge of the solar system, where the sun's gravity finally fades, where interstellar space begins. This is our neighborhood, our cosmic address. 8 planets, 5 dwarf planets, nearly 200 moons, millions of asteroids, trillions of comets, all orbiting one star, all held together by gravity, all part of one system, one family, all born together 4.5 billion years ago. How did it begin? How did the solar system form? The story starts with a cloud, a molecular cloud, vast beyond imagining, dozens of light years across, hundreds of thousands of times more massive than the sun, mostly hydrogen and helium, left over from the Big Bang, but also heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron, silicon, created in previous generations of stars, stars that lived, burned, died, exploded, seeding space with the building blocks of worlds. This cloud was cold, dark, stable, floating in the spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy. For millions of years, it simply drifted, unchanging, waiting. Then something disturbed it. A shock wave, perhaps from a nearby supernova, a massive star exploding. The shock wave compressed part of the cloud, pushed material together, increased density, increased gravity. Gravity pulled more material in. The cloud began to collapse, to condense, to heat up. As it collapsed, it began to spin. Conservation of angular momentum, like an ice skater pulling in her arms and spinning faster. The spinning flattened the cloud into a disk, a spinning disk of gas and dust, hot in the center, cooler at the edges. This is the solar nebula, the birthplace of the solar system. In the center, temperature and pressure climbed. Hydrogen atoms collided, fused, released energy. Nuclear fusion began. A star was born. The sun ignited. Light flooded the solar system for the first time. Radiation pushed outward, blew away the lightest gases, hydrogen and helium, from the inner solar system. Only rock and metal remained close to the sun. In the disk around the young sun, particles collided, stuck together, grew, from dust to pebbles, from pebbles to boulders, from boulders to planetesimals, kilometer-sized bodies, from planetesimals to planets. This process took millions of years. Countless collisions, chaos, violence. Eventually, order emerged. Planets formed, orbits stabilized. The inner solar system, close to the sun, too hot for ice, formed rocky planets. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, small, dense, solid, made of iron and rock and heavy elements. The outer solar system, far from the sun, cold enough for ice, formed giant planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, massive. Made mostly of hydrogen and helium, with cores of rock and ice. They grew so large they captured atmospheres directly from the solar nebula. Became gas giants, ice giants. Moons formed. Some from the same disk material as their planet. Some captured later. Some formed from collisions. Our moon, Earth's moon, likely formed when a Mars-sized object struck Earth. The impact ejected material that coalesced into the moon. This was early. Violent, catastrophic, but also creative. Generative. From destruction came the moon. From chaos came beauty. Leftover debris became asteroids and comets. The material that didn't form planets, the scraps, the remnants, still orbiting, still colliding occasionally, still delivering water and organic molecules to planets. Perhaps life itself arrived this way. Perhaps Earth was seeded by comets. We don't know, but it's possible. The young solar system was chaotic. Planets migrated, moved inward or outward. Jupiter may have moved inward, then outward again. Neptune may have formed closer to the sun, then migrated outward. These migrations scattered objects, cleared regions, stabilized others. Eventually, things settled. Orbits stabilized. The violence calmed. The solar system became what we see today. This entire process, from cloud to planets, took about 100 million years. A blink on cosmic timescales, but unimaginably long on human scales. And when it was done, when the dust settled and the violence calmed, the sun shone steadily, planets orbited, moons circled, asteroids tumbled, comets waited in the outer dark. The solar system was born, complete, ready for what came next. For 4.5 billion years of evolution, of change, of complexity emerging from simplicity, of life appearing on at least one world, possibly more. You are made of this material. The atoms in your body were forged in stars. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, iron, all created in stellar furnaces, released in supernovas, condensed in the solar nebula, incorporated into Earth, into life, into you. You are stardust, literally, not metaphorically. Your body is ancient, as old as the solar system. The atoms have been recycled countless times, through rocks, through oceans, through other living things. But they're the same atoms, the same matter, the same substance. You are the universe, localized, concentrated, made conscious, looking back at itself, trying to understand. This is not poetry. This is physics. This is chemistry. This is truth. Take a breath. Feel the weight of this truth. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are part of it, made of it, connected to it, to the sun, to the planets, to the stars, to everything. This moment, you here breathing, is 4.5 billion years in the making. The entire history of the solar system led to this, to you, aware, alive, wondering. Rest in that. Feel that. Let it wash over you like starlight. We're going to shift now, from science to story, from what we know to what we've imagined, from facts to myths, from understanding to meaning. The solar system is not just a physical system. It's a symbol, a metaphor, a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest questions about order, chaos, meaning, and our place in the vastness. Let's drift together into the realm of legend and mythology, where the planets are gods, where the cosmos is alive, where the stories we tell reveal truths that numbers alone cannot capture. Act 2. Legends, stories we tell about the heavens. The boundary between science and story is thinner than we think. Porous. Humans have always looked at the sky and seen more than lights. We've seen meaning, purpose, story. Even now, even knowing what planets are, what they're made of, how they formed, we still feel something when we look up. Still sense mystery. Still wonder what it all means. Think about the last time you saw a truly dark sky, away from city lights, where the stars were so thick they looked like dust, where you could see the Milky Way stretching overhead like a river of light. Did you feel small, insignificant? Or did you feel connected, part of something vast and ancient and beautiful? The ancients felt this more intensely. For them, the sky was not just a physical phenomenon. It was a language, a message, a revelation. Every culture developed astronomy. Every culture, independently, from opposite sides of the earth, different languages, different tools, different myths, but all doing the same thing, watching the sky, tracking patterns, building calendars, creating stories. The Babylonians divided the zodiac into 12 signs, 12 constellations the sun passes through during its yearly journey across the sky. These became the 12 signs of astrology: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, each with a story, each with meaning, each influencing human destiny. This wasn't arbitrary, wasn't random. The zodiac marked the seasons. Aries rising at dawn meant spring, time to plant. Leo high at midnight meant summer. Scorpio dominant meant autumn. Capricorn meant winter. The stars were a calendar, a guide, essential for agriculture, for survival. But the zodiac became more than practical. It became sacred, mystical. The position of planets within the zodiac at the moment of your birth determined your personality, your fate, your life path. This is astrology, and it dominated human thinking for thousands of years. Was it true? Is it true? Science says no. There's no mechanism, no force by which the position of Jupiter at your birth could influence your personality. Gravity is too weak at that distance. Light is just light. There's no causal connection. But astrology persists. Millions still believe, still read horoscopes, still feel that their sign describes them. Why? Perhaps because the stories resonate. Perhaps because humans need meaning, need to feel connected to something larger, need to believe that the cosmos pays attention, that we matter, that our lives are written in the stars. Perhaps astrology is not about physical causation, but about psychological truth. The archetypes, the patterns, the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. And if a story helps you understand yourself, if it provides guidance, if it offers comfort, maybe that's enough. Maybe literal truth is not the only kind of truth. The ancient Greeks told elaborate myths about the planets, not just names, stories. Rich, complex, interconnected. Mars was Aries, god of war, brutal, violent, bloodthirsty, son of Zeus and Hera, hated by both parents for his cruelty. When Mars appeared bright in the sky, armies marched. Battles were fought, blood was shed. The planet's red color, rust, oxidized iron, was the color of blood, of violence, of conflict. Venus was Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, born from sea foam, irresistibly beautiful, causing desire, causing chaos, married to Hephaestus, but unfaithful with Ares. Relationships complicated by beauty, by desire, by jealousy. Venus is brightest at twilight, the evening star, the morning star, romantic, alluring, seductive. The planet perfectly embodied the goddess. Mercury was Hermes, messenger of the gods, swift, clever, cunning, wearing winged sandals, traveling between worlds, between gods and mortals, between life and death. Mercury moves quickly, across the sky, never far from the sun, always in motion, always traveling, the perfect messenger. Jupiter was Zeus, king of the gods, ruler of Olympus, wielder of lightning, powerful, majestic, authoritative, father of gods and men. Jupiter is the largest planet, the brightest of the outer planets, commanding attention, demanding respect. The king, Saturn, was Kronos, father of Zeus, god of time, of harvest, of limitation. Kronos ate his own children to prevent them from overthrowing him. But Zeus survived, defeated his father, cast him down. Saturn moves slowly, takes 30 years to orbit the sun, old, heavy, associated with age, with death, with the inexorable passage of time. These weren't just stories. They were frameworks for understanding, ways of organizing experience, of making sense of the movements in the sky. If Mars is war, then Mars's position can predict conflict. If Venus is love, then Venus's position can guide romance. If Saturn is time, then Saturn's influence brings limitation, age, endings. The myths gave meaning to the movements, turned astronomy into astrology, turned observation into interpretation, turned the mechanical into the meaningful. In India, the Vedas, ancient sacred texts, describe the cosmos in poetic, symbolic language. The sun is drawn across the sky by 7 horses. The moon waxes and wanes as it's consumed and restored. Eclipses are caused by Rahu, a demon who swallows the sun or moon. But the sun and moon escape. The eclipse ends. Light returns. These stories are not primitive, not ignorant. They're sophisticated, layered. They contain astronomical knowledge encoded in myth. Eclipses follow patterns, predictable patterns. The Vedas knew this. The stories encode the cycles, make them memorable, transmissible across generations. Jyotisha, Vedic astrology, is one of the 6 Vedangas, 6 limbs of the Vedas, essential knowledge. Jyotisha maps the positions of planets at birth, interprets their meaning, guides life decisions, marriage, career, timing of important events. This is not superstition, not to practitioners. This is sacred science, a way of aligning personal life with cosmic order. The zodiac in Jyotisha is sidereal, based on the actual positions of constellations, different from Western astrology's tropical zodiac. Different calculations, different meanings, but the same underlying belief. The cosmos is connected, above and below, microcosm and macrocosm. What happens in the heavens influences what happens on Earth. In this tradition, you are not separate from the stars. You are an expression of them. Your birth chart, your cosmic signature, reflects the moment the universe arranged itself in a particular way. And that arrangement shaped you, not deterministically, but as potential, as possibility, as the raw material of your life. Chinese astronomy developed independently, tracked planets, comets, eclipses, kept records for thousands of years, some of the longest continuous astronomical records in human history. In Chinese tradition, the emperor was the son of heaven. His rule was justified by the mandate of heaven. If he ruled justly, the heavens remained orderly. But if he ruled poorly, the heavens showed their displeasure. Comets appeared, eclipses occurred, disaster followed. This was not metaphor, not superstition. This was political philosophy. The cosmos was moral, reflected righteousness. A comet was not just ice and dust. It was an omen, a warning, a sign that the emperor must reform or be replaced. Chinese astronomers became vital to the state. Imperial astronomers tracked the sky, predicted eclipses, watched for anomalies. Their work was essential, not just for calendars, not just for agriculture, but for legitimacy, for maintaining the cosmic order. This is a different way of seeing. The sky is not separate from human affairs, not indifferent, not mechanical. It's alive, responsive, moral. What you do matters. The universe pays attention. Is this true? Science says no. The universe is indifferent, amoral, governed by impersonal laws. Planets don't care about justice. Comets don't judge emperors. But perhaps there's wisdom here anyway. Perhaps treating the cosmos as moral, as responsive, creates accountability. Responsibility. If you believe the heavens watch, you behave differently. You act more carefully, more consciously, more justly. The sky becomes a mirror, reflecting not physical influence, but psychological truth, moral truth, the truth that actions have consequences, that order matters, that we are accountable to something larger than ourselves. Fast forward, 1600s, Europe, the scientific revolution, Galileo, Kepler, Newton. The cosmos is being demystified, decoded, reduced to mathematics. But not everyone celebrated. Some mourned, felt loss. The poet John Donne wrote, "The new philosophy calls all in doubt. 'Tis all in pieces, all coherence. Gone, all just supply and all relation." He was right to worry. When the cosmos becomes mechanical, predictable, impersonal, governed by laws, something is lost. Enchantment, mystery, the sense of connection, the feeling that the universe cares. Max Weber called this the disenchantment of the world. Science reveals how things work, but in revealing, it removes magic, wonder, the sacred. The planets are not gods. They're balls of rock and gas. The stars are not windows into heaven. They're distant suns, nuclear furnaces. The cosmos is not a moral system. It's a physical system, indifferent, vast, cold. This is the price of understanding. This is the cost of knowledge. But must it be? Must we choose between knowing and meaning? Between truth and enchantment? Perhaps not. Perhaps we can hold both. Know the science, appreciate the mechanism, understand the physics, and still feel wonder, still sense mystery, still find meaning. Carl Sagan said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." This is scientific fact. We are made of star stuff. The universe created us, evolved us, made us conscious. And now we look back at the universe, study it, understand it, love it. This is not less magical than myth. This is more magical. Because it's true, because it's real, because we can verify it, test it, build on it. The cosmos is not indifferent. Not exactly. It made you, cares for you in the sense that the laws of physics allow your existence, support your life. The universe is not hostile. It's fertile, creative, generative. You are the universe's way of caring for itself. That's the modern myth, the scientific myth. And it's beautiful, profound, worth believing. Here's something to consider. Right now, as you lie here in the dark, the solar system surrounds you. The sun, 93 million miles away, is still shining, still fusing hydrogen into helium, still pouring energy into space. And that energy will reach Earth in about 8 minutes. Will warm the dayside, will make life possible. Jupiter is out there, orbiting, its massive gravity protecting inner planets from comets, acting as a cosmic shield, a guardian. Saturn is there too, its rings catching sunlight, beautiful beyond description, waiting for anyone who points a telescope its way. Mars is there, red and dusty, holding secrets about whether life once existed, whether we're alone. Venus is there, hellish but fascinating. A reminder of what can happen when climate spirals out of control. All of them, all the planets, all the moons, all orbiting the same star, all part of your cosmic family. all connected to you through gravity, through chemistry, through the shared history of the solar nebula. You are not alone. You never have been. You're part of this system, this family, this dance through space that's been going on for 4.5 billion years. Feel that connection. Even if you can't see the planets right now, they're there. They're real. They're part of your world, your home, your cosmic address. We're going to shift again, one more time, deeper, into the archetypal realm, into the patterns that repeat, the structures that underlie all the myths, all the stories, all the meanings we find in the sky. This is the realm of mythology proper. Not specific stories, but the templates, the forms, the eternal patterns. Let's drift together into this deepest layer, where the solar system becomes a symbol of consciousness itself, of order and chaos, of the journey from darkness to light, of the eternal dance between forces that create and forces that destroy. Breathe, settle, let the boundaries dissolve. Let's go deeper. Act 3, Mythology, the eternal patterns of the cosmos. We've moved through science and story. Now we descend into mythology, not myths plural, mythology singular, the underlying structure, the pattern, the archetype. Carl Jung taught that myths are not primitive misunderstandings. They're expressions of the collective unconscious, universal patterns of meaning that repeat across cultures, across time, because they reflect something true about the human psyche, about consciousness itself. The solar system, sun and planets, light and dark, center and periphery, becomes a map of the mind, of the soul, of the journey every person makes from unconsciousness to awareness. The sun is consciousness, awareness, the light that illuminates, the center around which everything revolves, the source of energy, of life, of clarity. In every mythology, the sun is divine. Ra in Egypt, Helios in Greece, Surya in India, Amaterasu in Japan. The sun is always sacred, always primary, because without the sun, nothing else exists. No planets, no life, no awareness. The sun is the self with a capital S. The core, the true center, the divine spark within. Everything else orbits this center, draws energy from it, reflects its light. The planets are aspects of self, facets, functions, different parts of the psyche, each with its own nature, its own role, its own influence. Mercury is communication, the messenger, the translator, the part of you that connects inner and outer, that moves between conscious and unconscious, that speaks, that writes, that thinks. Swift, clever, adaptable. Venus is relationship, love, beauty, attraction, the part of you that connects to others, that desires, that appreciates, that creates harmony, or disrupts it. Venus is not just romance. It's all connection, all aesthetic sense, all value judgment. What you love reveals who you are. Mars is will, drive, assertion, the warrior, the part of you that takes action, that fights, that pushes forward, that defends boundaries. Mars is anger, but also courage, aggression, but also vitality, the life force itself, the urge to act, to do, to be. Jupiter is expansion, growth, wisdom, the king, the part of you that seeks more, bigger, better, that believes in possibility, that takes risks, that has faith. Jupiter is optimism, philosophy, the search for meaning, the drive to understand the larger picture. Saturn is limitation, structure, discipline, the elder, the part of you that says no, that sets boundaries, that insists on responsibility. Saturn is not enemy. Saturn is teacher, the one who says, grow up, face reality, accept limitation, death, time. Saturn is wisdom through hardship, maturity through constraint. Uranus is revolution, the unexpected, the part of you that breaks free, that rebels, that innovates, that refuses to conform. Uranus is genius, eccentricity, liberation, the sudden insight, the lightning bolt, the awakening. Neptune is dissolution, the mystical, the part of you that transcends boundaries, that merges with the infinite, that dreams, that imagines, that loses itself in beauty, in music, in spirit. Neptune is the oceanic, the boundless, the divine, but also the illusory, the addictive, the escape. Pluto is transformation, death and rebirth, the part of you that must die so something new can be born, the shadow, the underworld, the hidden. Pluto is power, depth, the compulsion to transform, to go all the way, to burn away what's false, to reveal what's true no matter the cost. This is the psychological solar system, the internal cosmos, the map of self. And just as the physical planets orbit the sun, the psychological aspects orbit consciousness. The self, each playing its role, each necessary, each contributing to the whole. Integration is the goal, not dominance of one planet, not suppression of another, but balance, harmony, each aspect functioning appropriately. Mercury speaking when it's time to speak, Mars acting when it's time to act, Saturn limiting when it's time to stop, Neptune dissolving when it's time to surrender. This is wholeness, this is health, this is the hero's journey, not out into space, but into the psyche, into the self, discovering each planet, each aspect, integrating them, bringing them into right relationship with the center. Which planet do you identify with most? Which aspect feels strongest in you right now? The warrior Mars, the dreamer Neptune, the teacher Saturn? Each of us carries all of them. But at different times, different planets dominate. Different aspects take the lead. And that's okay. That's the dance, the orbit, the rhythm of being human. The alchemists understood this. Medieval alchemists were not just trying to turn lead into gold. That was literal. But it was also metaphor, symbol. Lead is base consciousness, heavy, dull, unconscious. Gold is enlightened consciousness, radiant, pure, aware. The alchemical process, the great work, is transformation, spiritual transformation, psychological transformation, taking the base material of the unconscious self and refining it, purifying it, raising it to gold, to consciousness, to wholeness. And the alchemists used planetary symbolism. Each metal corresponds to a planet. Lead is Saturn, iron is Mars, copper is Venus, Mercury is Mercury, Quicksilver. Gold is the sun. The planets are stages, aspects to be worked with, integrated, transformed. The alchemist works in the laboratory, but the real work is internal. The real laboratory is the soul. Solve et coagula. Dissolve and coagulate. Break down and rebuild. This is the rhythm, the pattern. Death and rebirth. Dissolution and reformation. Chaos and order. This is not just alchemy. This is life. This is growth. This is healing. Every transformation follows this pattern. First, breakdown. The old form must dissolve, must die. This is painful, frightening, but necessary. Then, rebuilding. The new form emerges, coagulates, takes shape. This is growth, evolution, becoming. The solar system models this. The sun is the goal, the gold, consciousness. But you cannot reach it directly. You must work with each planet, each metal, each aspect. Transform each in turn. Integrate each into the whole. This is the great work, the magnum opus, the purpose of life itself. In astrology, whether you believe it literally or see it as metaphor, the birth chart is a map, a snapshot of the sky at the moment you were born, where the sun was, where each planet was, in which sign, in which house. This is your cosmic signature, your pattern, your potential, not your fate. Free will exists, but your starting point, your raw material, what you have to work with. A birth chart is like a seed. It contains all possibilities. But whether those possibilities actualize depends on conditions, on choices, on development. Two people with the same birth chart will live different lives because they make different choices, encounter different circumstances, respond differently to the same energies. But the chart shows the potential, the themes, the challenges, the gifts. It's a map, not a destination, a guide, not a prison. Jung studied astrology, not because he believed planets physically influenced personality, but because he saw astrology as a symbolic system, a language for describing psychological patterns, archetypal patterns. When an astrologer says you have Mars in Aries, they're not saying Mars physically affects you. They're saying you have strong will, high energy, quick temper, courage, impatience. These are Mars and Aries qualities. This is the language, the metaphor. Is this useful? Can you learn about yourself through astrology? Many people say yes, say their chart describes them accurately, helps them understand their patterns, their challenges, their path. Others say no, say it's vague, applicable to anyone. Confirmation bias. Perhaps both are true. Perhaps astrology works not by physical causation, but by reflection, by providing a mirror, a framework, a story. And if the story helps you understand yourself, if it guides you toward growth, then it's working, even if not literally true. The solar system becomes a teaching tool, a symbolic system, a way of organizing self-knowledge. And if it helps, if it heals, then the mechanism doesn't matter. Let's think about journeys. The hero's journey. Joseph Campbell's monomyth. The pattern that repeats in every culture, every story, every mythology. The hero begins in the ordinary world, unconscious, comfortable, limited. Then a call comes, an invitation, a disruption. The hero must leave, must venture into the unknown, the special world, the realm of adventure. Along the way, the hero faces trials, meets allies, confronts enemies, descends into the underworld, into darkness, into death. This is the lowest point. The crisis, the transformation, and then rebirth, return. The hero emerges changed, wiser, stronger, carrying a gift, a boon, something to bring back to the ordinary world, to share, to heal. This is every myth, every story. Odysseus, Inanna, Buddha, Jesus, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter. The pattern repeats because it's true, not literally, symbolically. It's the pattern of growth, of transformation, of individuation. And the hero's journey is a solar system journey. The ordinary world is Earth, home, the known, the comfortable. The call to adventure is leaving Earth, venturing out, into space, into the unknown. Each planet is a trial, a challenge, a lesson. Mercury teaches communication, Venus teaches love, Mars teaches courage, Jupiter teaches wisdom, Saturn teaches discipline, Uranus teaches liberation, Neptune teaches surrender, Pluto teaches transformation, the Sun is the goal, the center, enlightenment, full consciousness, the self-realized. The return is bringing the knowledge back to Earth, back to the ordinary world, sharing the gift, teaching others, serving life. Every person's life is this journey. You begin unconscious, limited by childhood, by conditioning, by ignorance. Then life calls, challenges, pushes you out, into growth, into adventure. You face trials, each one teaching, each one transforming. You descend into darkness, into your own underworld, your shadow, your fears, your wounds. And if you don't turn back, if you continue, you emerge. Changed, wiser, more whole, You return to life, to relationships, to work, but different, carrying something valuable, something learned, something to give. This is the purpose. This is the meaning. This is why we're here. The solar system is not just out there. It's in here, inside you. The journey through space is the journey through self. The exploration of planets is the exploration of psyche. As above, so below. The ancient alchemical maxim, the macrocosm reflects the microcosm. The outer solar system maps the inner world. The cosmos is a mirror, and what you see depends on how deeply you look. Let's think about order and chaos, one of the deepest patterns, one of the oldest tensions. Order is the sun, the center, the known, the predictable, the safe. Order is structure, stability, rules, patterns. Order is day, light, consciousness. Chaos is the outer dark, the void, the unknown, the unpredictable, the dangerous. Chaos is freedom, possibility, potential. Chaos is night, darkness, the unconscious. Every mythology recognizes this tension. Order versus chaos, cosmos versus chaos, Apollo versus Dionysus, heaven versus the abyss. In the beginning, in every creation myth, there is chaos, formlessness, the void, the waters of the deep, darkness upon the face of the waters. Chaos is primordial, original. Everything emerges from chaos. Then comes order. A god speaks, a word, light, separation, sky from water, land from sea, day from night. Order emerges from chaos. Structure from formlessness, cosmos from void. But chaos never disappears, never dies. It's always there, at the edges, beyond the boundary, waiting, threatening. Chaos is the dragon, the serpent, the monster, lurking at the periphery, beyond the known, beyond the firelight. The hero's job is to maintain order, to push back chaos, to extend the boundary, to bring light into darkness, to make the unknown known. This is conquest, exploration, civilization, science, the project of humanity. But here's the paradox. Here's the wisdom hidden in every myth. You cannot have pure order. Pure order is death, stagnation, rigidity. Pure order is a desert, a wasteland. Nothing grows, nothing changes, nothing lives. You need chaos. You need the unknown. You need the edge. Because chaos is potential, possibility, the source of new forms, new ideas, new life. Creation requires chaos. Art requires chaos. Growth requires chaos. The breakdown of old forms, the dissolution of old patterns, the space where something new can emerge. The goal is not to eliminate chaos. The goal is to balance, to stand at the boundary, 1 foot in order, 1 foot in chaos, 1 foot in the known, 1 foot in the unknown. This is the creative position. This is where life happens. The solar system models this. The sun, its order. The center, stable, predictable, life-giving. The outer dark, the Oort cloud, the void beyond, is chaos, unknown, formless, full of potential. And the planets? The planets orbit at the boundary, in the space between, drawing energy from the sun, but surrounded by darkness, order and chaos, known and unknown, both at once. You are a planet, orbiting between order and chaos, drawing energy from consciousness, the sun, but always facing the dark, the unknown, the unconscious, the mystery. This is human existence. This is consciousness. Standing at the edge, looking both ways, holding both, order and chaos, light and dark, known and unknown. Don't retreat into pure order. Don't flee into pure chaos. Stand at the boundary. Live in the tension. This is where you're most alive. Think about your own life. Where do you stand? Are you too comfortable? Too safe? Too orderly? Then you need a little chaos, a little adventure, a little risk, something to shake you awake, to make you grow. Or are you too chaotic, too scattered, too unstable? Then you need a little order, a little structure, a little discipline. Something to ground you, to give you form. The solar system teaches balance, the dance between center and edge, between light and dark, between known and unknown. This is wisdom. This is the path. This is how you live fully. One final pattern, one final archetype, the pattern of return, eternal return, the cycle that repeats, the planet's orbit, around and around, forever, never reaching anywhere, never arriving, always moving, always returning. This is cosmic law. This is the nature of existence, cycles, rhythms, patterns repeating, day and night, summer and winter, birth and death, growth and decay. Everything cycles, everything returns. Nietzsche asked, "Can you love this? Can you love the eternal return? Can you say yes to living the same life again and again? Forever? Every joy, every pain, every mistake, every triumph, again and again, eternally." This is the ultimate question, the ultimate test. Not whether you believe in literal eternal return, but whether you can affirm life, all of it, completely, without reservation, without wishing anything was different. Can you love your orbit? Can you embrace your path? Can you say yes to the cycle, to the return, to the pattern? If you can, you're free. If you can say yes to everything, to all of it, then nothing controls you. Nothing binds you. You're not resisting, not wishing, not escaping. You're present, alive, fully here. This is Amor Fati, love of fate. Not passive acceptance, not resignation, but active love. Choosing your life, choosing your path, choosing your orbit, again and again, eternally. The planets have no choice. They orbit because gravity demands it, because physics requires it. They cannot leave, cannot escape. They're bound, but you have consciousness, awareness, choice. You can orbit unconsciously, resentfully, resistantly, or you can orbit consciously, willingly, lovingly. You can say, "This is my path. This is my orbit. I choose it. I embrace it. I love it. Every part, every cycle, every return." This is freedom. Not freedom from the cycle. Freedom within the cycle. The freedom to say yes, to choose, to love what is. The solar system teaches this. The eternal dance, the endless orbit, the return that never ends. This is not punishment. This is the nature of existence, the rhythm of reality. And you can resist, can fight, can wish it were different. Or you can dance, can move with the rhythm, can celebrate the cycle. Which do you choose? Which, right now, in this moment, as you lie here in the dark, orbiting the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, moving through space, part of the cosmic dance, part of the eternal return. Can you say yes? Can you embrace it? Can you love it? This is the invitation. This is the choice. This is the gift the solar system offers. Say yes. Choose your orbit. Love your path. And be free. Conclusion. Coming home. We've traveled far. From Babylon to quantum mechanics. From mythology to neuroscience. From the ancient sky watchers to the space probes exploring distant worlds. What remains? What can we carry forward? The solar system is three things at once, all equally true, all equally real. First, it's a physical system. Matter and energy and gravity. Planets and moons and asteroids and comets. All following mathematical laws, all predictable, all knowable. Science reveals this, and it's beautiful, astonishing. The more we learn, the more wondrous it becomes. Second, it's a symbolic system, a mirror, a map, reflecting psychological patterns, archetypal structures, the journey of consciousness, the integration of self. Mythology reveals this. And it's meaningful, profound. The more we explore it, the more we understand ourselves. Third, it's home. Your home. The only home you've ever known. Earth is a planet, one among 8, orbiting one star among billions. But it's your planet, your star, your solar system. This is where you came from. This is where you live. This is where you belong. Hold all 3. Don't collapse into one. The solar system is physical and symbolic and home, all at once. Know the science. Honor the stories. Love the place. You are made of stardust. Literally. The atoms in your body were forged in stars, distributed in supernovas, condensed in the solar nebula, 4.5 billion years ago. You're not separate from the cosmos. You're part of it, made of it, the universe looking at itself. This is not metaphor. This is physics. This is chemistry. This is truth. And you're also on a journey, psychological, spiritual, the hero's journey, working with different aspects of self, integrating, growing, transforming, moving from unconsciousness to awareness, from fragmentation to wholeness. This is not science. This is meaning. This is purpose. This is also truth. And you're also simply here, on Earth, under the sky, part of the living world, breathing, eating, sleeping, working, loving, being. This is not symbolic. This is direct. This is immediate. You are home. You have always been home. All 3 are true. All 3 matter. All 3 are essential. The solar system, vast, ancient, eternal, holds you, supports you, contains you. You orbit the sun at 93 million miles, exactly the right distance for liquid water, for life, for consciousness. Any closer and you'd burn, any farther and you'd freeze. But you're here, in the Goldilocks zone, the perfect place. This is not accident, not exactly. It's selection bias. You exist here because this is where life is possible. If Earth were different, you wouldn't be here to notice. But still, you're here, alive, aware, looking up at the same sky your ancestors saw, wondering the same question, finding the same awe. The planets still wander, still dance, still orbit. Mars is still red. Venus is still bright. Jupiter is still majestic. Saturn still wears its rings. The sky is still beautiful, still mysterious, still calling you to wonder. And you still don't have all the answers, still don't know everything. There's so much we don't understand. How life began, whether we're alone, what consciousness is, what happens after death, what it all means. The mystery remains. The wonder remains. The questions remain. And that's good. That's right. That's how it should be. If we knew everything, there'd be nothing left to discover. Nothing left to explore. Nothing left to wonder about. The solar system is vast. We've only scratched the surface. Visited a few worlds. Observed from afar. So much remains unknown. So many moons to explore. So many questions to answer. So many mysteries to solve. And your inner solar system, even vaster, even more complex. Lifetime after lifetime of exploration, of discovery, of integration. You will never be finished, never be complete, always more to learn, always deeper to go, always more to integrate. This is not failure. This is the adventure. This is the joy, the journey that never ends, the exploration that continues, the wonder that persists. So rest now. But no, the journey continues. Tomorrow, next week, next year, you'll wake, you'll look up, you'll wonder, you'll explore, you'll discover. The solar system waits. Patient, eternal, always there, always calling, always inviting you to look up, to wonder, to understand, to love. You are stardust. You are consciousness. You are home. You are the universe. You are the journey. You are the mystery. All of it. All at once. All true. Breathe now. Feel the weight of the earth beneath you. Feel the spin, 1,000 miles per hour, carrying you through space. Feel the orbit, 67,000 miles per hour, circling the sun. Feel the movement, 500,000 miles per hour through the galaxy. You're flying, right now, through space, through time, through existence. And you're still, completely still, resting, breathing, here. Both are true. Motion and stillness, journey and arrival, search and finding, rest in the paradox, rest in the mystery, rest in the wonder. The solar system holds you, the cosmos cradles you, the universe loves you, not sentimentally, but actually, by existing, by supporting your existence, by being structured in exactly the way that allows you to be here, aware, alive. This is enough. This is everything. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel gratitude for this moment, this breath, this awareness, this life. You are part of something vast, something ancient, something beautiful. The solar system, the cosmos, the eternal dance of matter and energy and consciousness. And somehow, impossibly, miraculously, you get to participate, get to witness, get to understand. This is the gift. This is the grace. This is the wonder. You are home. You have always been home. Rest now. Sleep deeply. Dream beautifully. And when you wake, look up. The sun will be shining. The planets will be orbiting. The cosmos will be there, waiting, eternal, beautiful. And you'll be part of it, as you've always been, as you'll always be. Good night. Until we meet again, under the same sky, orbiting the same star, sharing the same cosmic home. You are home. Good night.